Hi everyone. Happy Monday night. I am freezing. We're painting tonight. I am very cold. Also, I just realized that I need the camera zoomed out, so I'll need to ask Steven to do that. We'll get that fixed. This painting is up for auction right now if you are interested in it. I think someone has the link if we did the auto Chaz alert for it. There we go. Thank you, Vagabond. So you can still get bids in on this painting, but there's also merch on Redbubble, so you can check out those links if you are interested in it. But I will be having Steven zoom out the camera so I can put big canvas up to paint. Can we zoom out camera for big canvas?
This is a prime.
Oh. Okay.
This is a prime.
Okay. Although what?
I mean, I did. I can move it back. Put it up.
This isn't big canvas.
We'll put the big one up.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. Will you take this?
Yeah. And put it where?
I don't know.
That's not helpful information for me.
You could hang it. You could just set it leaned up against the other ones right there. It's fine.
Okay.
Big canvas.
So my options are.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hi, bud.
Big canvas. Big canvas. Big canvas.
Wow, you really didn't think about this prior to this moment at all, did
Correct.
you? Cool.
I mean, to be fair, I'm going to be working here and here today.
Okay.
So it could stay, theoretically. Chess says, sounds like it fine.
Your iPad is in the shot. I don't know if that's a problem.
It's fine.
Okay. Well. God.
Big canvas.
Well, how's that?
Good.
Alright. Well, solved.
Thank you.
The alternate option is to like swap this lens out.
Mm-hmm.
But this is easier.
Did you have to refocus it?
Probably should. Do you have your
No,
color
I don't
checker
know where the
passport?
color checker passport is.
Okay. Well, can you put
Something up?
something up?
This?
Sure, in the middle. Yeah. Hold on. All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you do have to deal with the boom in the shot, but that's fine.
Yeah, it blends in a little.
Yeah. We're good. Thank you.
Oh, hold on.
What?
You can probably hear that. That's awful.
It's fixed now. We're all good.
Yeah, I just tried to make it where that you can't see the logo,
Yeah.
so it doesn't stick out as much.
It's all good.
I guess.
No,
All right.
it is.
All right, bye.
Bye. Thank you for your help. Oh, this paper towel just really stuck to the palette. Look how pretty it is, though. Look at those colors.
I want to put the painting somewhere.
Okay,
I don't
how
want
about
him to be able to get to it.
you go hang it where the print of Kepler is in our bedroom? Because there's a hook there.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen the cat destroy a canvas.
I know.
But if he starts today...
Yeah, that would be not great.
Yeah, I wouldn't love it.
How is everyone tonight? It's Monday night. Things are great. It's freezing in here. I've had these lights on for a little bit, hoping it would warm up with the door open. Just enough so I wasn't freezing. But my feet are really cold from it. Because we are right above the garage, and the garage is not well insulated. Kita is recovering from being sick, but mostly good. Soccer Silica says, good start of the year. Jacebook's doing well. I've had a good day. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, but I had a good day. So that was nice. All right, I need knife, and we will be getting started soon. Haley says you need a comfy rug. Well, this room is carpet, and I have drop cloths down, multiple drop cloths, but I think the room itself just sits here and is cold. Ager says, I busted out the electric blanket. Ooh, I could do that. I do have one of those. We have a 9-month resub from Seemingly Jess. Thank you. 9 months also from Air-3K. 10 months from the YLP. 10 months from Bored Turtle. People are hitting 10. Thank you. Noah says, ooh, tall. It's big canvas. It's so tall canvas. I wish I had just, like, because I have the top clip you can see here that normally holds the top of the canvas, and I never use those. Because then I have to, like, it holds the lip right here, so I have to, like, repaint that thing later. So, in this case, I do kind of wish it was perfect, but it's not. So, I just have to, like, hold the canvas today. But that's how I always paint, so it's fine. I have had this canvas for a very long time. It was a gift, and, it's not my normal size. It's not 18 by 24. It's like 20 by 30 or something. And it just never felt right to use it. So I finally did. This one worked really well for the ratio of what I am painting. I'm just cleaning off my palette so that we can get started in a few minutes, because it needs to kind of sit a little bit and then dry off. We have a 10-month resub from Bored Turtle. Thank you. 6 months from Kita Loves SM. 9 months from Gaxtronaut. Thank you all. Lunagazer gifted a sub to Silent Companion. Thank you for the gift sub. Vagabond says, what are we painting? We are going to be painting a photo that Brandon actually took when he was out for a walk one night. I really loved it. And I was talking to him today about it, and he had forgotten, actually, how colorful it is. And he's like, oh, I thought it was a silhouette. And I was like, no, there's a lot of color in that for being a nighttime painting. And I really, really loved this photo. So I was like, you mind if I paint that? And he said no. So that's what we're painting. I will show you it in a second when my hands aren't wet. We have a 7-month resub from Action Cat 7, 6 months from Sapphire Becca, and 9 months from Tarier. Thank you. I feel like I haven't streamed in forever, but I was also in Wisconsin for like 5 days. 4 days. So it's been a whirlwind since I last streamed when I did my nails. And they're holding up really well. I got a little bit of chip on my right index finger, but I'm right-handed. So that's what I'm always, you know, opening stuff with that and like flipping open like bottles or whatever. So that makes sense that I'm having trouble with that. Okay, palette is almost clean. Solid Chai says, I hope your trip went smoothly. Thank you. It did. I mean, I was there for a funeral, so like the circumstances weren't great. One of my uncles passed away, which was incredibly sad as he was in his 50s. He was only like 56. But it was nice to see family and be there for that, and that was healing. So that was good. I'm really glad I got to go. I got to fly in and see Carly. Carly was at the funeral as well as Kyle. All my first cousins were there. All my aunts and uncles were there. My grandma was there. So it was really, really nice. I was very glad that I got to go and be there with the family. It was a hard day, but I'm glad that I was there. So. We have a 7-month resub from Action Cat 7. 8 months from Sapphire Becca. Oh wait, did I read these already? I didn't clear them. 9 months from Terrier, thank you. We also have 9 months from Missing No Leader, 8 months from Jade Jennings, and Terrier gifted a sub to Haley. Thank you for gifting a sub to Haley. And it's kind of neat actually, with the funeral, all of my family had been there for Christmas, and some of them had gone home already. And some of my family actually lives out of the country, and they were still in the US. So they just had to extend their trip like 2 extra days once we got the news, and they were able to be there for the funeral. So that was really special to get to see them, because I don't remember the last time I've seen them, which I think might have been my grandma's birthday in 2019 when she turned 90. So it's been a very long time. And now I have the hiccups. Cool. Haley says, what is the best thing you ate and drank in Wisconsin, or is it all a blur? That's fair. It's Wisconsin, and there's a lot of alcohol in Wisconsin, and there was a lot of alcohol on the trip. We went to a Mexican restaurant one night, and I had the best refried beans I'd ever had. They were so good. And then I had a coffee drink in downtown Milwaukee that was called a Wisconsin old-fashioned coffee, and it was not an alcoholic old-fashioned, it was a coffee old-fashioned. It had espresso in it, and it was delicious. Let me read to you from it. I took a photo of the menu of the coffee shop, because it was very unique. I was going to order a matcha latte, and then I saw this, and I thought, no, this is unique. I can't get this anywhere else. Vagabond says, how was the bronze fawns? I took a photo, because I've taken many photos when I see the bronze fawns, so I can post that, Vagabond, if you want to send that through once I do. So the Wisconsin Espresso Old Fashioned has orange and cherry soda, chilled espresso, and bitters. And it had like those dark cherries, like the kind they like soak in bourbon or whatever. That was very good. There was no alcohol in the drink, but it was based on a Wisconsin Old Fashioned, which is different than a regular Old Fashioned you would find in other parts of the country. So it was very good. It was way different. I don't know if I'd order it again, but I don't regret getting it because I got to try it. What else did I do? I'll get started painting in a minute, but we can just chill. Carly was like, I want to go to the Milwaukee Domes because I haven't been in forever and I hear they're tearing them down. So we went to the Domes. I had just been there this summer. So it was nice to see him again because City of Milwaukee isn't like really wanting to do a whole lot of upkeep on them. And I really love them. It's one of my favorite places in the world. We went to some lighting store. I don't know what it was called. And then we went to an antique store. Let's see, where's Bronze Fawns? And, oh, further down because Carly had to send me the photo because Kyle took it. I did not take it. Let's see. Not TRG Coliseum chat. That's not where that goes. Alright, Vagabond or who's ever around wants to post this, you can. It's Carly and I with the bronze Fonzie statue in downtown Milwaukee. Let's see, what else? But yeah, it was good to see family, to be there with everyone. Like I said, all my first cousins were there. All my aunts and uncles were there, and my grandma was there, so I got to see there. I gotta check the box. But Chaz, I have to move and hit the keyboard, Chaz. Where's my mouse? There we go. There's Carly and I. So there's a bronze Fonzie statue if you ever saw Happy Days, the show. So Henry Winkler statue in downtown Milwaukee. Carly and I and Kyle had gone to a bar in downtown Milwaukee called Safe House. And it's a speakeasy, password protected bar. So you go and you need to know the password to get in, and you go into this room and it looks like there's no exits to the room, and it's like wood paneling, and there's like a piano and a bookshelf and stuff and like a fireplace. And we didn't know the password. Haley says, "Oh man, that place is still open." Yeah, it is. They actually opened a second one in Chicago. So we went, and Carly knew about it, and I knew of it, but I had never been because I haven't spent a ton of time downtown Milwaukee except going to like Summerfest and the art museum and I don't know, Grant Park. Places my family has been a lot. So we went in, and if you don't know the password, they just make you do something. And then they're streaming it live to the TVs in the bar once you get in through like the password. Haley said I never went, but people talked about it in college. So they make you do something, and then once they're satisfied with whatever they asked you to do and you've done it, then they tell you how to open the secret door to get into the bar. And there was someone doing sleight of hand magic that was really cool. There was someone who was... There was like 3 different bars inside of it. One was like the magic bar, and there was a guy doing sleight of hand and making drinks, and then there was a regular bar, and then there was like a public-facing bar. Like, and you had to go through like secret doors to get to the public-facing bar, and then like it was super dead because it's January in Wisconsin, and it was a Saturday night? Was it? Nope, it wasn't Saturday. I flew home on Saturday. It was a Friday night. So it was real dead for a Friday night. And Carly's making small talk with the bartender, and he was super great. And she's like, "So what's your favorite secret thing here?" And he's like, "We're dead. Let me finish my dishes and I'll take you on a tour." So he took the 3 of us on a tour, and there's like this chair that pops up from the ground. Like when it's down, it just looks like floor, but it pops up and it's maybe like 10 feet tall, and there's a chair there. And he's like, "We use this for bachelor parties a lot." And then he took us and showed us a bunch of like the secret things. Like you can flip open a mirror somewhere, and behind it there's a secret message. We never did find out what the secret password to get in it was, but we've been told that it's written on the ceiling in places in the bar. So he took us on this huge tour, and there's like a mummified cat at some point that he showed us and explained the story. And then we went into like the public-facing bar, and he's like, "All right, step into my office." And there was a booth, and he sat in the booth with us, and he hit a button, and then the whole like door with the booth swung around and closed us off from the public bar and opened up into the spy bar, the safe room house bar. So that was really cool. It made me a little motion sick because suddenly everything moved and spun around us. And then he put us in a phone booth, and he said, "You guys know how to answer a phone?" And we're like, "Yeah." He said, "All right, well, do it." And then he closed the door on us, and then the phone rang inside, and we answered it, and it was like password, and it gave a password number, so we put it in, and that was the secret exit out of Safe House. And it was like down some stairs, and it was like decorated really cool, and it spit us out right next to Bronze Fonz. And that's when we took that photo. So that's what I did in Wisconsin. It was a lot of fun at the Spy Bar at Safe House. I really enjoyed myself. I had a great time. Carly, Kyle, and I chatted. We haven't really gotten a chance to do that much. So it was a great time. And now that I've spent 27 minutes between my countdown and talking about Wisconsin, we can get started painting. We have a 10-month resub from Fossix. Thank you, Fossix. So this painting is based on a photo Brandon took, and I printed it out so I could color match it a little bit better. And this is what it looks like. Ooh, try not to get a glare because it's a shiny paper. So you can see like there's red, and like there's some yellow, and there's some green. This photo turned out super cool. So I really like it, and that's why I wanted to paint it. So that's what we're working on. Vagabond says, "I was in Milwaukee for like 3 hours on a June morning. I wish I knew about it." Safe House? Is it Safe House? I have a photo of the sign. Yes, Safe House. they're open during the day too, so if you ever go back and you're there during the day, you can go. And then the next morning I flew out, and my dad and Rhonda had like a similar flight time to me, but they were flying back to Florida. So we went a little early and we got sandwiches and mimosas at the airport. We had a good time. I need to move my table closer to me. We have a subscription from Tauqua. Welcome. Welcome to Painting Stream. We're just going to get started on painting shortly. I was talking about how crazy my week has been. I had to go to Wisconsin, and I was talking about what I all did there. Vagabond says, the Riverwalk was super fun. I'm glad I did that. The 3rd Ward is a beautiful part of Milwaukee. There's a lot of cool things. Okay. Thank you, iPad. So, the photo Brandon took, the moon was blown out, and he said that was the thing he regretted about the photo, is that you couldn't see any detail to the moon. And I was like, well, if I paint this, I can just fake it because it's a moon. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I need to pull up a picture of the moon. Welcome back. I just saw the Fruit Punch vlog showing that canvas. Thank you. I just had it up here before I started talking about Milwaukee, but then Steven went and put it somewhere safe. So I didn't get any paint on it because it's done. All right, there is a photo of the moon. Chess said, the moon is fake. You heard it here first. We're streaming moon tomorrow, Chaz. You can't say that. Because when I typed in moon to my search bar on my iPad, it took me to all of my moon notes and not images of moons. Oops. All right. So what I need to do with this is I need to do a rough drawing of the detail of this so I know where things are, and I feel like it should be bigger, but it's really not. One of the things I did with the photo is I have the photo, try not to make it have a glare, is I did some rendering on it. This one's better. And I put a grid system out so I could kind of help myself line things up. So this is it in black and white with one of the art filters on Photoshop over it. So I could see where the trees sit better. And that helped me figure out like how big the moon should be. So the moon is actually supposed to be this size because I was doing some ratios with this. So like I want it to be bigger, but it's not. So I'm leaving it what it is. I'm sure I won't regret that later. Let's see. So there's like the big crater here, and then that does like streaks. I'm gonna regret doing this in dark chalk pastel, aren't I? I know I am. Like that. And then there's like the dark edges here. Also, did I do this right side up? Another question I have for myself. Come here. Dude says, I plan on playing along with you guys to Moon. So actually, Thomas has been playing Moon because I was like, hey, I did all my notes. Will you kind of like play Moon? Because you wanted to and like check them. So he is. And the beginning of Moon is difficult because you die real easy. Let's see, 16 and a half and 11 3/4. Yeah, this is right side up. There's a little bit more space down here. That's why I needed to make sure. This is not center canvas. But I do love Moon RPG, which is why we're streaming it, because I've been very excited about it. It's just a cute little game, and if you know Chulip and liked Chulip, this is, in a way, it's kind of spiritual prequel. It came first. So there's going to be things that happen in it that you're going to be like, oh my god, this is why Chulip does what it does for that part. So I am very excited about it. Can you even see any of that, or is it totally washed out? I think it's a little washed out. That's okay. Alright, I have titanium white out from when I painted this sky already, and it's still wet, which is great. It's still open. I just need to find some black. Or gray. Gray would work. Where's my neutral set of paints? What are you? You are bone black and burnt umber. I don't want that. I want... Let's see. I want carbon black. That's what I want. Masala Chai says, everything early game kills you? It sounds like Tulip to me. Dude says, I've played a few hours before. So when I first started playing it, I didn't know anything about it. I just knew I wanted to play it because of, like, the history of it. And, it was hard because the game is not kind. Definitely not kind. So, I've written stuff out to help us get through the beginning, because once you start getting a little bit into it, it's easier and you don't die as fast. Alright, so I'm going to be using carbon black. So I'm sure these look completely identical on screen, but I find that carbon black is more of a cold neutral color than Mars, which is slightly warmer. And that's what I want for this, so I'm going to be using carbon. I feel like I have to get back in, like, the swing of painting. I feel out of practice in a way. Like I said, it feels like I've been gone a long time and it was only a couple days. And nothing on the moon is going to be quite as dark as pure carbon black, so we're going to mix it in with some titanium white. Haley said, old games like that follow their own logic, usually part infuriating and part extremely charming, and it turns into a cult classic. That is definitely what Moon has going for it. It's a PS1 game, and the creators of it, like, kind of had, like, their own thing going on. Like, they really tried to turn some things on its head based on how the game is. Like, the slogan for Moon is the anti-RPG, because it's not an RPG, even though it's called Moon RPG. Moon RPG Remix, I think, is like its official title. So I think we're going to paint this moon a little looser. And what I mean by that is, normally sometimes when I paint, I mix up all my colors or a handful of the colors. And then I have, like, just a bunch of little puddles of paint I can draw from. But I think I'm just going to mix up a neutral gray, which is what I've done here. And I'm just going to use this as my base, and then add a little bit of titanium white or carbon black to my brush as I need more. We have a 9-month resub from DevStats. Thank you. Thanks for the resub. And I need a nice small brush. Did I bring all my brushes back over from last time? They were all clean by the sink. Did I bring them back, though? I don't think I did. That's okay, we have more. Let's see. I want something a bit sturdier for this. And not too floppy. Fuzzy would be fine. Ooh, this one has paint in it. Yeah, this is an old brush. This might do the trick. As might this one. This one is super old. This one I let soak in water for a little bit and all the paint flaked off of it, so it's just raw wood. So yeah, I drew in kind of how this is going to look. And then we're just going to kind of fill it in with different grays here. And we're gonna let this be loose because I need it to be. And I think I'm going to tone it down a little bit, honestly. Like this gray is almost darker than I want it to be. So I'm going to add some white into this. And the white part of the moon right now doesn't have any paint. It has gesso because it was a gessoed canvas. So we will have to add in some paint as we go on. Okay, honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not done with it yet, but it's looking better. So now I'm mixing up a super light gray, and I'm going to fill in all of this other stuff, and then we'll bring back white later. And the reason for that is because like there's a burst right here with this impact crater, and I need to use pure titanium white for that. And I'd rather paint that on top and not try to paint around it. Gesso. Gesso is a primer that you use. I can talk about that and pull some of that out once I get this layer on. If you missed last time, I had put down a circle for the moon to like block in that spot, and then I painted all the blue. So there's a little bit of a ridge right where that tape had been sitting. So I'm trying to like keep the moon inside of that circle. Okay, we'll let that sit for a few minutes and dry before I try and blend more different grays on top so I don't make it too much of a mucky mess. Let's pull out some gesso. Are you gesso? Nope, you're molding paste. Do I have any in my cart anymore? Oh, I do. It's way back there. There we go. We have a 10-month resub from Ultra Husk. Thank you. All right, so I have white gesso and I have black gesso. And it's just a primer. It's super opaque. It dries much faster than acrylic paint, I found. It's chunkier, like it's super thick. I should use this up. It's looking old. Like it's not moldy, but it's looking old. And it dries matte. You can kind of see it's like matte-ish on the cap. So if I ever want to start with a dark canvas, I would probably re-gesso the ones that I get with this, but all my canvases are pre-gessoed. So sometimes I want to change the texture of a canvas, so I will thin down and gesso a little bit so it kind of sinks into the tooth of the canvas. So that helps. Or I find sometimes I maybe need to for some reason. Like you can see how thick, maybe it's just too blown out, this stuff is. It's super thick. It's like frosting. It's also very potent smelling. Sacrosilica says, gesso can grow mold. I don't think so unless you like contaminate it with something. Some sort of bacteria or something. Mine don't have any of that. They just, like this one kind of has a sheen to all of it. That looks like it sat around for a little bit. Maybe it's just like slightly dried on top, like a skin. I don't really gesso my own canvases anymore. Please close. We have a 9-month resub from Twilight Cat 24 and 9 months from Dual Braids. Thank you both. Hitting 9 months. I I have so many different things on these carts that are art supplies that I should try out sometime. All right. Still wet. Haley said, I've only used it a few times, not usually used in watercolor. Yeah, you'd have to have an, there's like mediums you can put down that absorb water. Like Golden has one, and it's meant for putting on paintings so you can do watercolor on top of it. I've never used it. I don't think I own it. But they exist. Gesso's non-toxic, apparently, is mine. It's AP. It has a Play-Doh-like shine. It kind of does. It has like a sandpapery finish to it. So like, I don't have a good example right here. So like this paint has a texture, but like raw canvas has more of a grit sandpaper feel to it. And I mean gessoed canvas. Gessoed canvas has more of like a sandpapery feel. So like where the moon had been before I painted it, it had more of that sandpaper tooth to it. But then like ungessoed canvas is tan. Like this. So it's kind of tannish, and it's fabric. It's cotton duck. All right. I don't know if this is dry yet, but I don't want to wait any longer. AP Seal ensures products are non-toxic. Yep. That was on my art ed test that I had to take to get my license. All right, so I'm just gonna lighten up some of these edges. And I'm not super worried about the moon blending into the background because, like I said, the original photo is really blown out there anyway. So any sort of detail here I think is going to be nice. And it's still not totally dry, so I get the feeling I'm gonna have to like do this a few times. But it will lighten up some of these areas. Snowfox says AP doesn't mean you can eat it, you gremlins. It can still make you sick. Snowfox has a point. You know why I think this isn't drying fast? I think it's because I'm using Golden Open titanium white. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. That makes a ton of sense. Cool. All right. I do need to bring a little bit more gray in because I got rid of too much of it. Cool. We talked about it last time, but Golden makes 2 lines of acrylic paint. Technically now they make 3 because they have a matte line. So Golden Open is different than Golden. So Open has a longer open time. It stays wet longer, somewhere between what acrylic stays wet at and oil. To be fair, oil takes forever to dry, so it's not quite that, but it does stay wet longer. And the titanium white I have on my palette is Golden Open. Open refers to the drying time, the open time of the acrylic. aka how long it is workable and usable. We're gonna leave that moon alone. I don't want to mess it up because it's looking good and it's not done, but it's looking good. So the next thing I have to do is clouds. I also thought about putting more of a glow around the moon. I don't know if I need to. Because in the original photo, there is quite a glow here, but it's so much of a glow that that's why you don't see the moon. And if I do that, I paint on top of the moon. So I think I'm just gonna paint clouds. Clouds are fun. All right, for clouds, I have some of these blues, but they're gonna mostly be kind of grayish. I might bring a little bit of violet into them. Do I have a violet out? Nope, you're titanium white. You're Prussian. My violet paint collection is severely lacking, I think. Dogsy is 2 blue. Cobalt. You're closer. Cobalt violet hue. Because it has quinacridone violet and quinacridone magenta in it, so it's warmer. Also, every time I look up at my little OBS screen, I'm not used to being so down here because of big canvas. So it's throwing me off every time. All right, so we're not going to touch any more of that golden open for these clouds. We're going to go back to regular golden because I don't want to wait when I'm doing clouds. They need to not mix with each other. I need them to have very distinct layers. So I'm going to start by mixing up a cloud color, like a base cloud color, and then we'll tap that in. Ooh, this is, no, I've used this. I was going to say, I don't know if I've used this color. Tall boy. Big canvas. You'll notice I didn't paint this when I did the blue last painting stream. That's okay. There's too many trees over there that there's not really any blue over there. So I'm not super concerned about that. That'll probably be pretty dark blues and greens when I get there. All right, base cloud layer. It's going to be mostly a gray. With a little bit of blue in it. And I'm wondering if I mixed up enough because it's big canvas. I don't know if I like this. I think I need to add a little bit of this violet. It's basically your height difference with Steven, which is like a whole foot. Because I'm like 5'5" and he's 6'6". Alright, where's my tester? Are you too dark? I think you might be too dark. And now I'm slightly back to more of a neutral gray. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of this violet. Maybe a little bit of this blue. And it's just barely like a gray lavender color, like just a hint of it. All right, how do I feel about this? think I did pretty good matching that. Quite happy with that. We do need a large brush though. A good cloud brush. Which is this one. Hello, Becca Brass. Welcome in. We're working on painting. All right, so moon sits here. There's a giant tree here, tree here, tree here, tree here. The clouds kind of sit. This is what I meant about wishing the clip fit today. Here. And I'm just tapping, and I'm sure this is atrocious. For sound, I mean. I like what I'm doing with the texture. It sounds like an earthquake. I can mute if it's really bothering people, like while I finish the clouds. Like it's a drum that I'm tapping on, essentially. It's fine, ASMR. We'll roll with it. Just rumbly. It's like someone opened the garage door below me. No, it says I want the full experience. It's loud. Let's see, I'll put a little bit here. Now, a lot of these will get covered by trees, but not all of them. So I'm kind of following the photo. And I'm kind of not. And we're gonna fluff up some of these just a little bit. So any residual paint on the brush is just gonna kind of fill in. And just be some more hints of clouds in areas. And I do need more titanium white. Because it needs to get brighter here. And maybe like here. So I'll just bring some of that in because like where the painting is lighter, it needs to be even lighter. I think we need to bring a little bit more out here. Quite happy with this. It also doesn't help that there's like stuff on my easel. All right, let's bring in a final highlight for these. So I just brought in pure titanium white up here, and I'm just kind of blending that down into the rest of the clouds so that you can see it. Quite happy with those clouds. Vagabond says, I swear, you look away for just a second and it transforms so much. I mean, I feel that way painting it too. Did that get bright enough? I needed a little bit more white. Like, I'm like, oh, there it is. Sometimes it just kind of shows up. Okay, happy with that. Jennifer says, I just got here. What is she painting? I am painting a photo Brandon took that looks like this. Sorry, it's on photo paper, so it's super glossy. But it's a night photo he took when he was out for a walk in like October, which is why it's all fall colors. But I really loved it. And when he took it, I was like, can I paint that? And he said yes. He's taken some others that I've really liked. We were looking at some the other day. Because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to paint tonight. Because I kind of just wanted to paint this in like vibe. And then it was decided that, I should probably just paint this. I want to finish this anyway. Mal looks so tiny next to this canvas. That's what I was saying. It's a big canvas. We had to move the camera back. And I'm not used to this framing. So I look like I'm just huddled here in the center. We have a 9-month resub from Zimmer CJ. Thank you. So I gotta wash out this brush because this is one of my favorite brushes. I can't ruin this brush. And I don't need it anymore. I will need it when I get to the foliage and like the leaves. But that's not today. Definitely not today. Alex says, nah, canvas is the same. Mal just got shorter. Beckett says, I had to step out and get dinner for someone else. What have I missed? I worked on painting the moon, and I put in some clouds. I will be going back to the moon. It's still wet. Okay, not going back to the moon yet. Got other things to do. All right, brush is clean. I've noticed that with this brush in particular, some of these bristle brushes, these natural hair bristle brushes, that when they're wet, they don't do the texture as well as I like. So if I wash them and then let them dry out, they will do good again. But until then, they're kind of worthless. I can't do anything when they're wet if I want texture. Snow Fox is working on a leather pouch. LV Technician's working on a cross stitch. Ooh, I used to cross stitch. I haven't done it in a very long time. All right, we will get back to that later. In the meantime, we're gonna work on something that I figured I would just save for later because it doesn't really make sense to do. So we're gonna do it anyway. And that's put in some stars. See if I have a good working paint pen or if I have to disassemble one and clean it out. None of those are the plastic ones. This is the plastic one. And I thought about spritzing stars on with the toothbrush technique, but that's gonna give me too many. And when the moon is totally full and this bright, you really don't see that many. And like, if you look close on the photo, there's a couple. So I just wanted to put in a couple, and what's gonna happen later is I'm not painting individual leaves because that would take me years of my life. I'm just going to tap them in with a Bob Ross technique, like I did the clouds. And I might cover them up, so I may have to put in more later, but that's fine. So most of our stars sit... Oh, I may want to switch to a brush. Kind of up in this area. That's so tiny, I don't like that. We're switching to a brush. Do I have a nice round? You will work. Maybe not. Because what's happening is the brush is not giving me a nice circle. Our next step is to use the handle of the brush. Let's try that. Better. Okay. Can you see those on the screen? The canvas is so big and they're very tiny. And like I said, these are probably gonna get covered up by foliage later. And that's okay. I will just put in more if I want. We'll see how the vibe is. Oh, you didn't make a circle. Let's try to put my hand in a different one. Noah says it seems very sinful to use the handle of a brush. Listen, I paid for these. I can use it however I want. Sometimes I give them haircuts. Like if they get really ruined and terrible, like I'll trim the brush. That one's a little big, but that's definitely where a tree's gonna be. Oh, look, I closed all my rings. Cool. I should have also probably considered doing this before the clouds because the clouds will sit on top of the brush or the stars. That one was a bit big, that's okay. Can we see any of those? I have this tiny screen and they're tiny stars and it's big canvas. No, make a circle. There we go. Vagabond says we can see them. Great. Do we see any down here? There's some power lines I'm gonna cut out. Because that's way too big. Because they're way behind everything else. I think that's enough. Now I'm gonna find a smaller brush than this one. And we're gonna try and work on finishing this moon off. And we're gonna use not golden open. And maybe it'll do what I want. I'm starting to feel like it won't. I'll have to go back to my moon picture so I can remember where Crater is. Crater sits over here. And there's like a darker spot in the middle. And there's also like a brighter spot over here. And I need an even finer brush for like the trails that come out from the crater. But I don't have one pulled out right now. Oops. I got paint in my hand and I didn't want to set it on the canvas, and I tried to just get the edge of my hand damp, and I shoved my whole hand in the water. Perfect. I feel like later, like on my next painting session, I'm going to have to add more titanium white into this because I think it's losing some of its brightness. Like it doesn't pop and look illuminated. Because I think it's just getting muddied with the gray I made. We will figure it out later. Ouch. For now, I need a sharper brush. And now that I've washed this one, it got a little sharper. Did it again. Stuck my hand in paint. And I'm using my pinky to stabilize. So like I'm using my pinky here to stabilize my brush hand. And so I can't have any paint there, or I will very much regret that later. When I put paint all over the canvas where I don't want paint. And I'm sitting crisscross because I'm freezing. So I keep using my knee and hitting the easel. Haley says, get your electric blanket, but I don't want to get paint on it. That would suck. I already got glue or something on this shirt, and I'm not happy about it. What'll just happen is I will go get it after I finish painting. Yeah, I feel like the moon is too gray. Like, I think it looks good, but I think it needs more titanium white, and that's difficult because all it's doing is getting muddied by all the other stuff. Like, it doesn't feel sharp, and that's not what I want. I mean, the room is getting warmer because I have the lights on and I have the door open. But when I first came in here, it was very cold. All right, let's think about this. Clouds are done. Moon is like done for today because there's no way I'm getting anywhere on that. Stars are done. What is next? What do I want to tackle today? Because like the next thing is going to start being trees, and that's going to need everything else to be very dry. Because stars are set. We could start drawing in some of the trees while we wait on that to finish up. What do I want to use for that? Chalk pastel. So one of the things I did is I took this into Photoshop and put an art filter on it so I could start to see where things are and figure out exactly where I want things to go. And I could grid this whole thing and then work from the grid that I made. Can you see there's a grid? It's pink on top of the black and white. I could do that and make it perfect, but I don't want to do that because erasing all of that grid will be awful. So what I'm going to do is I know where the moon sits because it sits right here. Let's fill that in. All I'm going to do is take a paint marker and draw the moon circle of where it sits, so we can see that better. There. So that's where the moon sits. So what I'm going to do is I can judge from the top of the canvas to the top of the moon and go like about half, and I can start to see what sits there. So about here is where some of these branches sit. So I can kind of make some judgment calls. Oh, that is not the color I need. Switch. That's better. About exactly where things are going to sit. So this line comes kind of to here, and then it has a big branch that comes back this way to about here. Like so. And I can keep building these branches that way. This one has like a little fork that comes off this way. And this guy branches over to this way. Gotta switch to a dark color. So I'm just going to keep building branches this way, and eventually they will get filled in. So that's how we're going to keep building that. Can you even see that? I can see it. It works for me. That's the hard thing about this. And this also starts a bit bigger back here. You can see it good. I have a tiny screen, big canvas, bright lights. Also, it's kind of hard to know exactly where some of these trees are or where they go. So I just kind of draw in branches and hope it makes sense. Like, I feel like this is a different tree that I'm starting to work on right this second. Because it does kind of go this way. And there's a lot of leaves. So like this whole area is filled with leaves. So I'm not really seeing a whole lot of branches. Oh, there's kind of a big thing here. All right, so I think that looks good, and now we need to work over here, away from the clouds and away from the moon. So we have a really big, I should zoom in on my photo, tree branch that sits like here. And so I'm gonna do my trick again from the top of the moon and kind of figure out half. And then it's like a little bit left of that. So like half, and then like a little bit left of that and up. So like here maybe, there's this like larger tree branch. And it comes about halfway to this distance. And then it has this thing that goes like straight down. Oh, that one connects to that a little bit. Okay. Useful. About halfway between this and the moon is here. So this kind of comes this way. I'm gonna switch to dark chalk pastel again. There's a lot of little branches in this area. And some of them I haven't drawn, I will just be making up later. Switching back to light chalk pastel. Which I may regret not drawing all of these in later, but that's fine. So this one splits two this way. It comes out this way. But it's starting to look good, like tree branches. And these will get blocked in with solid carbon black later. So that'll be useful because I can just take a paint marker and like fill those in. And I'll probably pull this photo back up and then just do a lot more like little tiny branches so it looks more filled in. Which one should I work on next? I should probably come around the right side as I'm right-handed. So if this is here, it's probably a little longer than it should be, but that's fine. We have moon, next is here. There's a tiny little, like, scraggly pine tree thing. And I think these guys come down a bit longer. And straight right from the moon we have swoop. Fork up that way. And then this comes down all the way that way. Because we have corner, big tree trunks down this way. I really thought that doing this black and white would be a little more helpful than it is. It's helpful, but it's not perfect. So this one comes up here, and it does the swoop. Then we also get from here, we go up this way, switch to the dark, and then this kind of splits. We have this one that comes down this way. Like this one actually goes across the moon a little bit. Haley says, watch Mel bend reality to her will. You gotta make it all up. This goes this way. So let's see. About a third of the way down is right exactly where this needs to be. Love that for myself. And then there's one right below it. You're not so angled, you're just more straight down. And over here is more leaves, so you won't see any of this. I am really liking this. Hero Chaos Chess says, nothing like a nice baked potato for dinner. I had those on my shopping list, and then I went to Wisconsin, so I took them off. And now I want baked potatoes. We have a 4-month resub from Miss Mace Windu. Thank you. We're working on a photo. We're painting this photo. I know this is the black and white version, but this is to help me see the lines. Here's the color version. It's dark and it's on photo paper, so it's shiny. This is a photo Brandon took that I really liked. He's taken some really good ones. He took one on a flight he had a few weeks ago that I really liked also, but that one was a little bit more complicated than this. And I didn't want to do that. Switch to the light chalk. This is where the power lines sit in this photo, but I'm not putting power lines in. Does Brandon do photography professionally? No, but it is something he does have an interest in. He said something about how maybe in a different life that would have been something he pursued. Noah says, electricity, not in Mal's reality. Listen, when you have really straight parallel lines, like, where's my ruler? Like, look at this. This would look so unnatural. Just throwing in a bunch of power lines back here. It ruins the aesthetic. We can't have it ruining our vibe. Can't do that. All right, so we're working our way around, and now I'm going to be drawing upside down. Are we dry? Yeah, is the moon? Nope, moon's still wet. Dang it. Dark chalk pastel. So this one, like this one will go on top of the moon just a, maybe I'll decide it doesn't. This one sits more here and comes parallel and then goes down this way. And it has a ton of itty bitty branches because it's a different type of tree than these other ones. And like I said, I'm not drawing every branch on here yet. I'm just trying to get some of the major ones so that when I get to filling it in paint, I can see where most of them sit. And it is kind of a pain to switch back and forth on chalk. This is very dramatic. I kind of like it. Nothing worse than a wet moon. I know I need to work on it. I want to paint it and finish that part. And I just don't think that's going to happen today. It's nice that I kind of have this whole surround right now. I do think this was a little too ambitious of a line. Where was I? Filling in the mess of branches that are all over this side of the painting. This one does that. Now this does sort of that. And this is all dark and you can't see it. This is all dark down here. There is this guy. I think that's also a little too ambitious of a line. I think it goes down this way. That's better. Pretty happy with that. So not all of these are going to be filled in with leaves. There are some leaves. There's a bank of leaves kind of more in these empty spaces. There's just a lot of branches. Like this tree has like just a couple leaves on some of these branches. So some of these are just branches and some of these are going to be like whole filled in trees with leaves on them. So we are gonna probably see a handful of these stars, but like I don't think we'll see some of these guys way out here. All right, let's try and put a little bit more titanium white on this moon painting, on the moon itself. Oh, I should pull my moon picture back up. also getting tired of twisting, so sometimes I'll just put a little paint on my palette knife and then hold it here. I'm just trying to give some definition to this and bring in some of these highlights. And I'm trying to leave the paint a bit thicker because then it's not blending, it's just sitting on top, being textural. And I think that's helping a lot. I think that looks pretty good. I do think it will need more bright highlights, especially like on the top right up here. Just a little bit, but not today because it's not cooperating. Because I made a mistake and used the wrong paint. Trying to think of what else I can do. Because like the next thing I have to do is block in all of the tree branches with solid black because they're silhouette. And that seems like too big of a task for today. And then it will be a ton of leaves getting filled in. Jade says, apparently the auroras are out, but I'm too cold to go out and see for myself and freeze. We don't get those where I am. It's too far south. It's way too warm here and too far from the pole to see that. I put ice in this at like 3 p.m. and there's still ice in it. Haley says, that's future Mal's problem. When this dries, it'll be a lot easier for future Mal. We have a subscription at 8 months from Daniel Bonin. Thank you. I also dropped this. It fell off my bike and it rolled across the street, so it's real scratched up now. But that's fine. It's the one I bought for my bike. I'm just glad people can pronounce my name correctly sometimes. Sometimes. John says, it's got character now. It does have character. It was a 2-pack from Costco. And the other one, you have to like unscrew and then you can like throw it back. This one's easier when I'm out of breath and like dying on the hills. Because there's so many hills in Raleigh. Oh my god. Rough and tumble container. Yeah, it's metal. So it made a lot of noise as it fell to the concrete and rolled as I was crossing a street. It's very hilly here. Myrtle Beach, not hilly. Noah says, y'all do have a lot of hills. It was evident on our walk. Yeah. I figured out, like, places, like, to avoid some of the big hills. I have to think about how tired I am, and I'm like, okay, should I take a right here or a left here? I'm tired, so if I take a right, I can kind of circle around this giant hill and not do so much elevation. John says, and that's why I don't ever move. I've really loved cycling, though. I am getting better. It is a lot. There has been improvements, and I'm proud of myself for that. But I'm, like, post-op recovering. I mean, I am recovered by now, but, like, I did lose a lot by not doing anything. Noah says Brandon will do the hill. And then Brandon will tell me to get good because there's a spot that's, like, super curvy, and my bike does not have as sharp of a turning radius. And, Chaz says, move is good. Chaz, I'm so proud of you for your run that you did on Sunday. So proud. Anyway, there's this curvy part, and we were somewhere with Chaz and Jeff and Steven and Brandon and I, and you're welcome, Chaz. And Brandon was basically telling me to get good. And Chaz is like, so you're saying she can't do it or something? Like, let's see you do it. So the next time we were at that location where that hill or the curvy part is, Brandon tried it on my bike, and he did just fine, which was irritating. Slick Duke says, oh man, I keep forgetting that Chaz and Jeff live in Raleigh now. They do. Chaz, how far did you run? I was very impressed and proud of you. So I want to show that off, because you did amazing. He ran so far away. Yesterday, 14 miles. Yep. Chaz went 14 miles. Break All the Pot says, wait, what? How did I miss that? Well, the vlog isn't out yet of when they moved here. But Chaz was on breakfast stream, and we have mentioned it on a few streams, so it's understandable you probably missed it. Cousin Ninja says, I only realized that Chaz and Jeff moved to Raleigh based on the 2 streams last week. Chaz says, today just 3.3 miles. I think I went 7 today. Thomas says he's getting ready for the marathon in October. Yes. All right, we are going to start wrapping up because the moon is not dry, and I don't want to start on the tree branches tonight because that takes a while, and I want to do it all at once and not start it and have to stop it. So we're going to start by running Patreon ticker. Thank you to all my patrons for your support. If you're interested in Patreon and the perks that come along with that, the main one is Discord. You can check out the links that Vagabond posted. Steven's Patreon and my Patreon at the $10 level do give you access to Discord. Either one goes to the same Discord, so think about which one you want different perks for, and you can check them both out. What else is going on? We have breakfast stream in the morning, but the thing I'm most excited about is tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, Steven and I are streaming Moon RPG Remix, which is a game that is by a lot of the people who went on to make Tulip. Some of the people that worked on Moon did Super Mario RPG. Some of them went on to do other things like Rule of Rose and did like Onion games. So I'm very excited about Moon RPG Remix for the PS1 because I've played through it twice now, and if you liked Tulip, you will see where some of the Tulip stuff comes from, because Tulip was a PS2 game. So like there are things that happen and you'll be like, that's where that came from, because they took some of the same things and put them in Tulip. Not like characters, but like how things work, some of the mechanics. Thomas says, I'm testing the guide right now. I'm glad, Thomas. Thomas has been telling me about his experience going through it using my guide. Because I played through it, and then I took other guides and changed them because it originally came out in Japanese and didn't get translated till recently. The UI is interesting. When it got re-released into English, they had to translate the manual so that people could understand how the UI worked. So, I'm very excited about it. Kissing mechanic, got it. No, but you do collect love. Like, it's a game about love. So I'm excited for everyone to see it. One of the things in the game is there's very few places with music, but you can get CDs in the game and make your own little like playlist and have your own music in places. Thomas says catch. Yep, you catch. Erica says, I've never heard of this game. I'm excited to see it. I have really loved it. There's some really fun little things that happen, and it's very, very interesting. They were trying to do something very special with it on the PS1, and I think it's really cute. Wondering what UI stands for? User interface. So like when you talk about that with a game, it's like how things work, like how the menu system works. Slick Duke says, how many frogs are in it? One frog. We'll see him at the beginning. And there's also tadpoles. And the tadpoles kind of work a little bit like the frogs in Tulip. A little bit. Just a little bit. Thomas says 1. Thomas, if you followed the guide, it's like one of the first ones. We have a raid from Tom. Hi, Tom. Hi, Raiders. Butterball Bill returns to the seas. Tom was playing, I believe, oh my god, I can picture it. Sea of Thieves. We're just talking about things that are going to be happening on my stream and Steven's stream. I was painting this lovely night picture that Brandon took. And I have it physical. I don't have it digital to throw up on the screen, but it looks like this. So I've been working on that. We painted the moon, and we put the clouds in and some stars, and I drew in tree branches. But thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. We were talking about how tomorrow's breakfast stream. We were talking about how tomorrow Steven and I are starting Moon RPG Remix on his channel at 1 p.m. on Twitch. So make sure you subscribe and follow for that if you haven't done that already. What else is happening? On Thursday, we will have a breakfast stream and we will have a guest on breakfast stream on Thursday. Thank you, Vagabond. That's the other thing. If you were interested in the fruit punch painting that I did prior to this one a few weeks ago, the auction is up for that, or you can get merch. So eBay and Redbubble for those. I think that's all the things. Tom says, I thought the moon with a bunch of lighting around it, but that photo is beautiful. Yeah, the photo is amazing. I really loved it when Brandon sent it to me, and I was like, can I paint that? Please, can I paint that? And he was like, yeah, go ahead. So I'm painting it. We're working on that. Steven already streamed this week's Starfield. That is correct. He did that today. We had a 4-month resub from Random Player 818. And let me see if Steven can do a punch in for me. I want you to be able to see the moon because I feel like it's really blown out because there's just so much of like the white glow painting around it. I want you to zoom in here.
Oh, look at that.
Yes. You want me to turn it square?
I mean, if you want.
Oh, now it's gonna have a glare. Let's tilt that.
Okay.
There's the moon. There's detail in that. Thank you.
You're welcome. God, that's such a
Big canvas.
yeah.
Not my normal size canvas.
You're
This
letting
is.
me know that you only have a few days left on the.
I did mention the eBay and the Redbubble.
Okay. It's great.
The fruit punch painting.
It's very beautiful in person.
It's a very bright color. Did you take that somewhere? Did you hang it?
I hang
Okay.
it in our bedroom,
It's in the other room.
but I can bring it back.
Sure, why don't you do that? Tom says the white glare around might not be so bad once you get the foliage in. On the original photo, the moon got too blown out. It was too bright, so you can't even see it. It's just like a white glow. And I wanted to bring in some of that, so I did. So a lot of the foliage like sits here and here. Some of these more open spaces on the edges, and then the tree branches kind of snake their way out. Thank you. Here's fruit punch. This is the one that is currently up for auction, and there is Redbubble prints and phone cases and such. So this one is currently up if you want the actual canvas that is up for auction. Prints on Redbubble.
Yeah, I think there's...
This is my normal size painting, so you can kind of see the size difference.
I think there's 3 days left on the auction.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pomegranate looks amazing. Yeah, the pomegranate, the coconut's probably my favorite part, but the pomegranate really came together, I think, once everything got like solidified in. The crown of it is my favorite part. I don't know if that's what they call that on pomegranates, but that's what I'm calling it. All right, I think that's everything. Is any one of my friends live? I know Tom's done because Tom is here. Oh, that was Milwaukee photos. Let's see. Jiggy is live. Is Jiggy live reacting to Zeldathon? I think so. All right, do we have a raid message for Jiggy? Wet moon? Okay, let's go with that. All right, is Chaz here to do this for me? Do I have to like reach for the keyboard? Oh wait, I can do it from my phone. I can do it from my phone. I forget I can do that. Chat. There we go. Cool. All right. Thanks everyone for being here. I did stream early this week because we will have someone in town. Oh, thank you, whoever sent that. But there will be a stream next week and I will continue to work on this painting where we will work on tree branches and probably the start of a bunch of the foliage. And then it's really going to come together because it's going to kind of cover up the edges and really start to bring everything together. So go tell Jiggy Wet Moon. Thanks everyone for being here. Tune in tomorrow for Moon RPG at 1 p.m. And I hope to see you there. Have a good night. I can't send everyone. There we go. Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, and I didn't leave that pulled up. Oh, shoot. Shoot. I can do that. I am doing well, Jiggy. I hope you are doing well as well. I spilled water on the moon. Yep. Kinda. All right. Thanks everyone for being here. Hope to see you tomorrow. And I think that's it. Have a good night.